So today is going to be the day that we mount the sledgehammer head to its handle. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. So the reason I'm doing this at night and with no lights is, well, you'll see in a second. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be grinding out all these lovely little imperfections in the hammerhead, the face. Not worried about the whole thing. And I've got this bottle of water, and that's going to be to keep it cool. So I just wanted to mention real quick that I did have some footage of me working on the bevels and such, you know, right here on the edges there. Originally I took it over to the grinder. Let me back up a little bit. Originally I took it over to the grinder, bench grinder, and it didn't work as well as I'd like it to. It wasn't as controllable as I wanted it to be. So I realized that a file would cut just fine, and I cleaned it up with that. And like I said, I had some footage of that and some footage of me sanding it with the block and the sandpaper and stuff. But my phone does this thing where, like, whenever you move your hand over the sensor, it'll move back and forth. So I accidentally deleted that footage, and let's just say I turned that feature off on my phone so I don't do that again. So sorry about that. This side has only been done with 80 grit sandpaper, and here is the side that's been done with 80 grit, 220 grit, and 400 grit. And as you can see, there's definitely still some scratching, but nowhere near as bad as the other side. 400 is the smoothest sandpaper, the finest sandpaper that I have. So we're just going to continue on and do the other side like this. So how I'm getting the rust out of the inside here is I'm just taking a little sheet of sandpaper and using my finger. Also, another good way that I found was to take a really long extension, socket extension, and fold it around here and do it this way as well. But I just started using my hand, my finger here, and that seems to be working pretty good. Felt kind of guilty about deleting the footage of me filing everything. So I wanted to show you this, even though this is a little more weird since I'm kind of fingering the hammerhead right now. Now I'm debating on whether I should show this at all. Oh wait, I know what'll make it even weirder. Oh yeah. So as you can see, there's those little lines in there. From what I'm not sure, and obviously the sandpaper's not going to get in that groove, so, or any of those little grooves, as you can see. So pretty much done with that. That's not too bad. First time I've ever done this. It is not too bad. It's definitely going to work as a hammer. Something else I wanted to show is that, you know, I use that grinder. Well, it's not perfectly flat on, oh, well, fail, on either side. I could have sworn I got it flat. Feels flat, looks flat, but when you do this, you can see there's just some light peeking around the sides. And that's not the bevel. It looks like the bevel on camera, but there. See what I'm saying? It's not flat. It's not flat. It's not aggravating. Matter of fact, that's a good thing. Hammers are supposed to be like that, I believe. So, drop forged. Made in Brazil. I do have a dovetail saw that would be better for this, but it needs to be sharpened and the teeth need to be straightened out and redone. I think we can make that work. Let's just keep the theme up with reusing stuff. What we're gonna do is we're gonna plane this guy down. Unfortunately for me, it's really thin, and these wooden grips are not perfect. This is poplar wood. As you can see, it's still pretty thick. Ooh, it does have a little crack in it, don't it? That wouldn't have made a good wedge. That is just wide enough. I hope I can do this. What I'm gonna do is just taper it by hand. If you want to see some pictures of this handle being put on this knife, just a few pictures of it, go check out my Instagram, link is in the description. I'm starting to use it more often, take pictures of stuff that I'm working on. So today is going to be the day that we mount the sledgehammer head to its handle. Cooper is legit like right in the way, dude. He's legit. Like my walkway is over top of him. Why don't you move? Excuse me. Excuse me. Watch out. I do want to mention something. This piece of wood here has a crack in it. This side doesn't. So I'm going to use this side. Okay, so what I've done here is I've laid the hammer on top as center as possible, which actually turned out to be almost dead center. And I've got the handle where I want it, and I've marked with a pencil to give me the marks that I'm going to be using. As you can see, we definitely have enough room, but it's just, I mean, ever so close to the edges. We got plenty of room on the sides, which is good. I'm going to try and get this as centered as possible, so I'm going to take a few measurements and be right back. I want the side of the oval here, and then we're going to take the plane and plane down, similar to how we did the shovel handle. Link will be in the description for that video. And there's our first cut. And then we're going to move left or right, either one, looking through, see how I can look through the blade and see where I'm cutting. See how that's visible through there? It's kind of like a little window. I can see where I'm starting my cut. Now, I just want to say I've never used a mop handle to do this, to be quite honest with you. Never done this. I'm going to try and get you a pretty good shot here of what this looks like. Very similar to the shovel handle. We're looking at the end grain to see where we're taking wood off. Okay, so that's just now fitting into the eye, and I've got a lot to work with, thank God. As long as my wedge down here don't break on us, we'll be Gucci. And no, I don't ever say that word, so probably sounded weird. You just kind of work it a little bit. Test fit it, work it, test fit it, work it. And then at a certain point we're going to change tools over. Something too I didn't think about fitting that I learned from Wrangler Star was that you want to fit these the same way because sometimes the eye is not exactly perfect. Plus for me, since the handle has a curvature in it, I want to make sure it goes on the right way when I'm fitting it and whenever I put it on, of course. So the checkering or the crack is right here. So what I did is I put some pencil markings on that face, so I know this is the front, and I know that where the Drop Forge Made in Brazil logo is, that's the bottom. I'm not so sure you can see that on camera. So as you start working it, you'll start seeing these little curlies, and that's telling you that you're sitting down on the wood and it's starting to peel that wood off. Nice tight fit. Very good. You can see those rub marks very well. And you can see that ridge that it does create. That's from the hammer hitting. So once you do your first good fitment, you want to switch over to what's called a rasp. And this is a two-sided rasp. One side has very, very aggressive. The other side's fine. And we're going to use the fine side. And the reason for this, and the reason why you want to retire your box plane, is because you don't want to keep taking this down, because this already fits. You want to just take down the spot where it does not fit. Let's try the more aggressive side here. Yep. Getting the sawdust on my mouth. Let me change this around. Your objective here is to just take it down just past out. Now if you don't have one of these, you can just as easily use a knife. And be very, very careful. Alright. So in test fitting this, as you can see, there's our squiggles. There's our crack. Put those together. Smack. That rhymed. And then you want to take something, just like with the shovel handle, you want to take something like a rubber mallet. Something that's not metal, because it'll ding up the end of your wood. And this will a little bit too, but this will definitely reduce that. And just give it some love. As you can see, we advanced quite a ways there. Alright, that's got to be rubbing somewhere. Oops. Was that on camera? Okay, so we're on our last fitment. And as you can see, it's off to one side just a little bit. It looks really, really big on the camera, but it's not that bad. Now, before we make this last fitment, we have to cut the slot in it so we can put our wedge in. I'm going to use this big saw. Probably not the best thing in the world, but we want this to be as straight. Got to use a cinder block to get up the height here. It's drifting just a little bit. Okay, so I did get that to pull back over pretty good, so I think we're still okay. I wish I had a saw that cut straighter. This one just isn't the right one for the job. But all I'm doing is I'm just twisting a little bit, and that's pulling that blade and kind of angling it. Oh. I didn't even notice it was cracking. That's sad. Well, it seems as if we always run out of time. Or, well, more or less run out of daylight. We never really run out of time until we die. I'm going to go ahead and test the wedge, but first we got to cut this off. Thought it was funny. My dad made the comment that why don't you just take a pole, a metal pole, and stick in the eye and weld it. Make you a permanent handle on it. It's just like... no thank you. No thank you. Although, while that's not a horrible idea, it's just not my style. I don't like doing that kind of thing. I just want to test this. That's sitting down where it's going to be. And I left that a little bit open, a little bit up, sorry. And the reason for that is so it kind of mushrooms out on the top a little bit. I believe this wedge is going to work. I believe! So you can see that that wedge is doing the same thing that the handle does, and it kind of shaves the wood. And so we'll take that back out, and we only need this wedge to about right here. So you can see I cut this way, way longer. The way I'm doing this is I'm taking the knife and I'm pushing, keeping my fingers out of the way. This knife's fairly sharp, and kind of cheating, I guess. I guess this isn't really a game, so you can't cheat. What I think I'm going to do to kind of finish this up is go back to the file, just to smooth out any high spots. But what you want to do is you want to take some boiled linseed oil and you want to put it on your wedge and on here as well. So believe it or not, but right now you are on a bucket. I'm just kind of letting that run in there, because what this does is it'll swell up the wood, make it fit tighter, plus protects the wood obviously. I just poured a little bit on there, wiping it on with my hand. One thing I don't like about boiled linseed oil is the strong smell. It's not the best smelling thing in the world. I've kind of grown used to it, but alright, here we go. You'll know when it stops because you'll hear it and you'll feel it. You can hear the pitch changing, I'm sure. That's definitely in, for sure, 100%. Kind of heard that thud. That's exactly what we're looking for. Hopefully that lighting's a little bit better, for what it's worth. So we're nearing the end of our adventure. So I'm going to put, hopefully, with this, a small chamfer, meaning that it just kind of beveled. And that's just in case if it gets hit, it won't damage it. So we're at the end of our journey to reduce, reuse, and recycle, and we successfully replace handles on 2 different tools. Now, will these handles be the last installed on these tools? I very seriously doubt it. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. Are they good enough to use for a while until they break? Of course. Now, when these handles end up breaking, I will replace them with proper handles. This was more or less a test to see if you could take an old mop handle and reuse it and put a temporary handle on different tools. And in my book, if these handles last more than a year and get their fair use, I think it was a success. To see pictures of these tools or anything else that's picture-worthy, go check out my Instagram. Link is in the description. If you liked the video, leave it a big thumbs up. It'd be much appreciated. And while you're at it, why don't you drop down in the comments and let me know if you like these videos. If you do, what you do like, what you don't like. Anyways, guys, as always, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you later. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave it a big thumbs up. That'd be much appreciated. Drop down in the comments while you're at it. One of those will do. Be sufficient.